Through all the challenges schools have faced during the pandemic, the 3 school systems in Madison County say they have found ways to adapt. Our Kelly Kennedy tells us what they learned this past year and how they are now looking forward.
I think one of the biggest takeaways from this school year has been the importance of adaptability.
That's what the superintendents of Huntsville City, Madison City, and Madison County schools said they've had to do all year. During the State of the Schools address, these 3 superintendents reflected on the obstacles their schools have faced during the pandemic.
It has been a challenge when you start thinking about working through those particular processes of not physically having students in your building.
From transitioning to virtual learning and navigating hybrid schedules.
Our district staff put out 6,500 laptops in days.
To hiring on more therapists and social workers.
To make sure that our students are sound in mind while they're going through these particular times.
They say they found ways for kids to continue to grow and thrive.
To be able to still have football games or cyber competitions.
On top of the pandemic, these school systems are adapting to the area's rapid growth.
We have to be very intentional looking at capacity in our schools, where the growth is and where maybe new schools need to be.
The 12 mil property tax in Madison that passed in 2019 is helping to combat overcrowding in their schools.
We've been able to bond that money for a new elementary school, Midtown Elementary, that will go online next year, and then a new middle school, Journey Middle School, that will go online the following school year.
The new Alabama School for Cyber Technology and Engineering also assisting with the growth. They enrolled 70 students in their first year and plan to bring in 80 to 90 more students in the fall. Putting the Valley first, Kelly Kennedy, WZDX News.